Not every cyber attack begins with code. Sometimes it begins with a voice, a calm voice, a familiar voice, the kind of voice that sounds like it belongs on the other end of the line. At 4:17 on a Tuesday afternoon, Lena Ortiz answered a support call at a company called Harborline Systems. The day was almost over, and tickets were stacked in the queue. Then the phone rang. The caller sounded rushed but polite. He said he was from field operations, locked out before a client meeting. Nothing about the call sounded strange at first. That was the dangerous part, because the attacker did not need to break into the company. He only needed someone inside to believe he belonged there. This is the story of the hacker they trusted. Lena had taken calls like this before. Forgotten passwords, new devices, access problems at the worst possible time, normal help desk work, and the caller knew how normal it should sound. He knew a real department, a manager Lena recognized, and a vendor meeting that afternoon. None of those details felt secret, but together they created a shape that looked believable. The caller did not act mysterious. He did not sound like a villain. He sounded like someone who had been inconvenienced by technology and needed help fast. That is one of the oldest tricks in social engineering. Do not make the victim feel afraid. Make them feel useful. The caller apologized for the rush, thanked Lena for helping, and said he knew it was a bad time. Every sentence lowered the pressure in one place and raised it in another. Lena was not careless. She was doing what good support people do. She was trying to solve a problem. But the attacker was not attacking a firewall. He was attacking the moment. The request was small. Just enough help to get back into an account. Just enough urgency to skip one extra check. In cybersecurity, just enough can be a very dangerous phrase, because attackers often do not need everything at once. They need the first trusted step. Once the caller was believed, the rest became easier. A support action that was meant for emergencies became a doorway. From the outside, nothing exploded. No alarm screamed. No screen turned red. The company kept moving. Emails were sent. Meetings continued. But somewhere inside the system, a stranger now had a path that should not have existed. And the scariest part was not that the path was hidden. It was that the path looked normal. Trust can be dangerous because it does not always leave fingerprints. Sometimes the system records an action as approved. Sometimes the breach does not look like a break-in. It looks like customer service. The first clue appeared the next morning. Priya Nair, a security analyst at Harborline, noticed a sign-in pattern that did not fit. One account had activity from a location that made no sense. Then came another clue. A setting changed after hours. Messages opened before the real employee had started work. Each signal was small enough to ignore if you were busy. But Priya had learned to respect small things. She checked the support record. Then she called the real employee. "Did you contact the help desk yesterday afternoon?" There was a pause. "No." "Why?" That was the moment the story changed. The call had not been support. It had been a performance. The attacker had borrowed a name, urgency, and trust. And for a few minutes, it worked. Social engineering is not magic. It is not mind control. Most of the time, it is quieter than that. It is a person asking for something in a way that makes the request feel reasonable. They might use authority, urgency, politeness, and just enough real information to sound familiar. The target is not only the computer, the target is the decision. That is why the defense cannot be only technical. Verification matters. If someone asks for access, Money, passwords, account changes, or emergency exceptions slow the moment down. Use a separate trusted channel. Call back using a known number. Check with a manager through a normal internal process. Do not let the person making the request choose the entire verification path. And if the request feels urgent, treat that urgency as part of the signal. Good security does not mean never trusting anyone. It means knowing when trust needs a second look. At Harborline, the damage was limited because one analyst noticed the pattern, but the door had already opened, not because the lock was broken, because someone was convinced they were helping. That is what makes social engineering so dangerous. It can turn kindness into a key. This was Breachlight, cyber stories that reveal how digital trust breaks. Next time, we follow an attack that waited quietly inside a company until the perfect moment to move.